Hello everybody, and how are you all today? It's so good to be back, and it's even better to have you guys back with me again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support. I just absolutely adore you all. Anyway, it is a very confused bookworm today. I woke up just feeling as if the whole world had changed, that the whole world has been turned upside down, and I don't know which end is up and which end is down. So why do I feel this way? Well, waking up in a world in which a future king discusses sustainable fashion with the editor of a high-end fashion magazine, and a world in which one of its largest, most influential, and strongest countries cannot get its own election right. How can anyone understand this? And how can anyone digest this? It's truly difficult, and it's going to take me a while. So let's talk about Prince Charles quickly. For any of you who may have read some of my comments and responses in the past, you will know that I have said this once or twice before. I have the feeling, the sneaky suspicion, that the reason why Meghan and Harry had not been stopped, their titles not taken, or some kind of action taken against them for their political expressions, etc., is all to do with Charles. When we look at his past and things he's done and things he's said and the people that he had interacted with in his past, it is quite obvious that Charles himself is rather woke, rather liberal, and can be rather political. And like his son Harry, he does not always do his homework before interacting with a number of well-known people. For instance, when we saw him meeting Greta Thunberg, who herself and her parents are Antifa supporters, Charles was almost bowing down to her. He was so tolerant, so accepting, when in reality, Greta and her family are out to make money, create trouble, create uproar, and just general nonsense wherever they go. Taking our children out of school away from their education just to satisfy their own narcissistic needs. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Greta today or her family. It is my belief that Charles is tolerating and even standing up for Harry and Meghan, because I think that is where he would have liked himself to be. He would have loved to be in the position to open his gob and spew forth some wokeness. To get back to his fashion statements, I went on Instagram and I read some of the comments, and although I'm not going to give each and every person credit for what they had said because I have no permission to use their names, what I do get is that most people are wondering how Charles can talk openly about sustainable fashion when his own son is married to a woman who spent £500,000 on clothing during her pregnancy alone. The other question people are asking is, should Charles not be spending more time and energy on creating a more sustainable monarchy and a more sustainable family? Shouldn't Charles be spending more time listening to the people of his country and working out a way to keep them happy rather than color matching his ties? And I fully agree with these comments. I feel uncomfortable, and it has nothing to do with my gender issues or my ideas on gender and what people should be interested in according to their gender. It has nothing to do with that. I just feel that a future king having frivolous interviews with a high-end fashion magazine does not sit well. Not with me, at least. Anyway, so let Charles get on with his fashion statements. He says he gets it, he's like a stopped clock. He gets it right twice in 24 hours. In my eyes, Charles, by doing this interview talking about something as frivolous as fashion at a time when the United States, your greatest and biggest ally, is in absolute turmoil, I just don't feel that it is in any way suitable, and it does not give me a good impression of Charles himself. I'm not saying he should involve himself with American politics, but at least out of respect, keep your mouth shut until next month. Charles does not seem like Harry. He does not seem to have the right idea about the correct protocol and decorum. He seems to blunder into situations and scenarios without thinking twice. And I have serious issues with him being a good or a successful king. Having said all this, I do, however, give Charles credit and all my respect for the modern artisan project that he started in Scotland. I'm not sure where exactly it is. I think it's near or at Dumfries House. But one must give him respect for that and credit for that, because at least he is putting his money where his mouth is. He also went on to explain that the project will launch their first men's and women's wear collection called, and now I know my pronunciation will not be correct, guaranteed, but this is how I read it: Yux Net-a-Porter for the Prince's Foundation online. So they'll be launching this collection, and I believe that some of the proceeds will go to the Prince's Foundation, and because it's a sustainable project, kudos to Charles for that. I just wish that Charles, Harry, Meghan will stop doing all these preening, almost bragging, woke interviews with, in particular, fashion magazines. Be quiet, do your job, and do it locally. Do good for your people, and forget about looking good yourselves. It's starting to irritate me, and I'm sure it's starting to irritate a lot of other people. You're welcome to give me your comments on this in the comment section below. Oh goodness, you guys may hear some noise in the background. I have a corrugated iron roof and it just started raining, so the noise may interfere with my taping. But before I move on to something else, I saw a newspaper article that states that Meghan does not intend to let go of her political stance and involvement in politics after the election. So I was just wondering how many of you agree with me that Charles should rather address Harry and Meghan's political interference than maybe address fashion with Edward Enenthal. Just leave your comments below and let me see and hear what you guys think. So let's talk about the American elections, and something I specifically want to address today is once again the fact that each and every time I open my mouth locally about the royals or American politics, I get the same bloody thing. One or two people will discuss the matters with me, but there'll always be the 1 out of 10 or the 1 out of 20 who will say, "Why are you bothering with British royals and American politics when we have issues of our own in this country. And that is why I think I should address this at least once. And I hate going into politics, or at least discussing it with people I do not know very well. But let me explain it this way. We are all interconnected on this planet, and not just emotionally, but also economically. And then I went through a number of articles to actually see what the influence of the American government is on the South African economy. And it's quite easy to understand. One example of how Africa and South Africa is influenced by the United States, and I'm reading it from IOL. The Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which gives sub-Saharan nations greater access to the US market, allowed South Africa to export more than $7.5 billion, which is 121 billion rand, to the United States in 2019 alone. Lesotho created more than 46,000 jobs in the textile industry because of this act. So, if the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act is terminated, then all those jobs are at a risk of being lost. So how the heck can we not be worried about American politics? Whether a Democratic government and Biden as president will be positive or negative for South Africa, it depends on which newspaper or which financial magazine you read. They have different views on this. But regardless of whether it could be positive or negative, the fact remains that as a global superpower, the outcome for the United States will have an effect on your country, no matter where you live. And it will definitely have an effect on my country here in South Africa. As far as my personal opinion and my personal feelings, I find it absolutely strange and amazing to think that millions and millions of people went out and gave a man who appears to have some cognitive issues, a man who appears to be on the brink of senility, a man who appears to have definite brain function issues, to actually go out and vote for this man, to give him a thumbs up. And I'm saying this not to be disrespectful, but I have listened to various speeches from both Biden and Trump, and I have actually seen Biden talking, and he would talk normally for a while and then lapse into gobbledygook. Absolutely words that no one can understand. His face goes impassive, he screws his eyes up and the silly smile, and then he talks something nobody can understand. There is something wrong with the man, and it is my opinion that United States, more so than many other countries, need a strong, healthy leader. Not someone who may lose his mind in the middle of very important discussions, whether they be diplomatic or economic. So I'm worried, and I find it really strange that the United States elections are so close. And I'm worried, as I said, very, very worried. Anyway, I'm going to keep this short. I now have 3 videos which are in the pipeline, none of them finished, all of them done halfway. And like I said, then something comes up and I think it's more important, I drop it and I go on to something else. So for now, what I'll be doing is I will be working on those videos in the background. I'll be dealing with current issues in between, and I will post those videos as bonus material in the coming week and a half. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Please take care of yourselves. I would love to see all of you back here with me on the next video. Bye.